You gotta love going live, right? But that's the way that works, I guess, right? We'll
Exactly.
figure it out one of these days. But anyway, so welcome to the first episode of Myrtle Beach Living. I'm Todd Cartner. I'm your host, and we are going to be joined here with Brittany Levine with Rest is Best Sleep Consulting. Thank you, Brittany, for joining us today on our first episode.
Thank you for having me.
So, we'll have some viewers here joining on here in just a second. I see a couple are already watching, so welcome, guys. And Brittany and I have known each other for 5 or 6 years now, Brittany?
Yeah, a couple years
Yeah,
now.
something like that. She used to work with WMBF as a salesperson, and her smile just made me empty my wallet. So I'm gonna try to get that camera down a little bit more and see if that'll get me in here and the shot a little better. All right. So Brittany, you have been busy getting your new business up and running, which is Rest is Best Sleep Consulting. So tell me a little bit about how you decided to go this route.
So, as you know, I had a little boy 2 years ago, and I had a really difficult time with being so sleep deprived with him. He just would not sleep for longer than an hour and a half at night. And we kind of just lived that way for about 8 or 9 months. And we just hit a point where it was just really taking a toll on every aspect of our lives. So I just really committed to helping teach this little baby how to sleep so that we could all sleep. And once I did that and saw the success, our lives completely changed, and he was happier, he ate better, everyone was in a better mood each day, and I just couldn't believe what a big impact it made. Like, I knew sleep was important, but I didn't realize how important it truly was. So after that, I started helping some friends, just talking them through their sleep struggles as well, and I decided to become certified so that I could help even more families worldwide.
Well, that's awesome. I know it's been working for you very well, from what I understand. So let me ask you this: is obviously it's working, or you wouldn't be doing it as a business. So,
Right.
what does a pediatric sleep consultant do? What is their day look like? I guess is how we would say.
So you can kind of look at it like a personal trainer, how a personal trainer helps you learn how to, do nutrition, eat well and work out right, and, fits your body, because what works for one person is not going to work for the other. And that's the same for babies. So I customize plans. I find out exactly what's going on. I look at it holistically. So there's the food, when the baby's eating, how much the baby's eating, when the baby's, or if there's any exposure to TV, everything comes into play here. So I take a look at the whole picture, and I customize that plan based on each family and each baby. And I also work on getting them on a schedule as well, because schedule is important for babies in order to sleep well. A day to day, I talk to parents. I offer an initial complimentary evaluation, and we kind of just briefly discuss about anything that's going on, and I offer any tips that I can. But most of the time, we talk about what it would look like to work with me after that, and we kind of dive in that way, and then I start to customize their sleep plan. After that, we go over what they need to do step by step in order to teach their baby how to sleep, and I guide them through that process. So they have me as their support system. It's not just like a here's what to do, talk to you later type of deal. I'm with them every step of the way to make sure that those goals are being met.
So it's really helping them to set up a routine. Is what it's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and a lot of parents, new parents especially, don't even know where to start with that. You get this little baby home from the hospital, and at the hospital they're just like, good luck. Don't sleep in bed with them. That's really all they tell you to do, and then you're kind of on your own for that. And a lot of people crave that routine and structure. They just start, and that's where I come in.
and that's important because being in the former EMS service, there were a lot of times that we went to calls where someone rolled over on their baby in the middle of the night. So that is a huge no-no. I agree with you.
It is, yeah.
So
Yeah, it's very dangerous. It just becomes a last resort for a lot of families. They just they don't know what else to do in order to survive. So they just do that.
they think they're going to get sleep if they actually bring the baby in the bed with them. So yeah.
Right.
Let me back up a step. Is this sleep consulting like this? Is this a nationwide thing? Is this, how did you get certified for this? Is it a franchise type thing? Explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I went through a company called Sleep Sense, and the owner, Dana Obelman, she has been working with thousands and thousands of families worldwide for the past 17 years, I believe she's been at it.
Wow.
So I got certified through her program, and I can work with families all over the world, as long as the time frame works out, because sometimes, I can refer them out to a consultant within my network that is closer to their time zone if that work out with us.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So why is sleep consulting so important in our community?
Well, the Grand Strand, is growing, and as I'm sure you've been here longer than I have, that it's
30 years.
becoming younger.
Born.
Well, I'm sure you see that there are a lot of younger families here now. The schools are getting more packed, so that means there's more sleep-deprived families as well. And with that, with sleep deprivation comes a lot of negatives for the parents, but for the babies as well. There's developmental delays that can come with that, behavioral issues, lots of problems that can stem from sleep deprivation. So I just really want to get out there and help all the families that I can, because I know how hard it is, and I know how it can feel really alone when you're so sleep deprived, like your baby's the only one who won't sleep. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that they're not alone and that I am here to help them.
Well, that's awesome. So once you meet with them and do the consultation, what does it look like? How does that process work?
So it depends. If someone's local, we can do the consultation in home. Obviously not right now. We're getting to a point where that can be, in the more near future than it was. But for the most part, I do the consultations over the phone. And we just go through step by step of the strategy, the schedule, how to handle anything that's thrown at them. And then we use a free messaging app that I have, and we are able to message back and forth all day long. So I check those messages 3 times a day. That way they're getting the answers to their questions as frequently as they need them. Because if a baby wakes up early from a nap and they're not sure what time to do the next nap, they're going to need that answered pretty quickly, rather than a lot of the other self-help books you don't get that with, or some of the other programs you would have to send an email and you may get an answer a couple business days later.
Well, that's cool. So how's your success rate been so far? I know that's probably a tough question for you.
It is, because it is variable on the parents and each baby, but I will say that 100% of the parents that have committed to their plan have seen success, and they have their babies sleeping through the night and taking naps well. And it is truly amazing to see the change. I just recently worked with a baby she was 9.5 months old, and this whole time she has only been taking naps in the stroller. So her parents live in an apartment in New York, and they have to push her around the apartment in a stroller in order for her to nap. And now she is taking 2-hour naps in her crib twice a day, as well as sleeping 10 to 12 hours at night.
Can you help adults? I need a 2-hour sleep or nap every day in the middle of the afternoon.
My goal is to eventually get certified with adults as well, because it's sleep can be an issue for everyone.
Can you cure snoring? So, Brittany, why would you hire a sleep consultant versus watching a ton of how-to videos or reading blogs about it, or even buying a book on it?
So that really kind of stems back to, what to do, but you just don't really know how to implement it. So that, different things and different tips that the blogs and everything else that is on the internet and available at our fingertips right now, we know what they say, but we don't know how to actually put that into action. So I give that step-by-step plan of how to implement these, good strategies and healthy sleep habits in babies. And I tell them how to do that, and I help them throughout the process, because each baby is different. So when you read that book that says, okay, you need to do this, this, and this, that may have worked for your coworker's baby, but it's not going to work for your baby, or it may not work for your baby. So that's why having something tailored to exactly what's going on for your situation is very beneficial and results in success a lot more than just reading something. And not to mention, when you're sleep deprived, I mean, how many books can you actually read?
True that. It is interesting that you bring that up, because both of my children were totally different. My son, when he was first born, he slept all night right away until he got about a year and a half old. And then he reversed his schedule. He slept during the day and was up all night. Cool. And my daughter, she was pretty good. It took her a little while to get into a routine, but once she did, she stayed there. So
exactly, yeah. Every baby is different. Every family, each child's going to be so different. So, and that's what it helps. I work with a lot of families who this is their third child, and they're like, my first two were nothing like this. I thought that I had an idea of what to do because my first two were such good sleepers, and now this third child came along and we haven't slept in a year.
Right. Well, and you know what? It's not only the kids that are different, it's also the families and their habits or their routines for each day is different.
Exactly.
That probably makes a big difference too. So, Brittany, what would you say is the biggest culprit of why a baby doesn't sleep well?
The biggest culprit, I would say, is, from my experience, is external sleep props. And what that is something that the baby needs in order to fall asleep or get drowsy enough to fall asleep that they can't recreate on their own. So such as like feeding them to sleep, rocking, butt patting, standing on one leg, twisting like this. They come in all shapes and forms. But it's something that when a baby wakes up in between the sleep cycles, that we all naturally do, that they can't recreate that environment themselves. So it's really important for a baby to be able to fall asleep on their own without the presence of any of those other external props, so that when they do come to a lighter state of sleep in the middle of the night, they aren't confused about where they are. They know exactly where they are. The last thing that they remember is being in the crib. They fell asleep and they feel safe, secure, and able to just drift off back to sleep.
So, how do I put this? The common misconception probably is that if a baby is crying, you either just let them cry and they'll cry themselves to sleep instead of picking them up. Or what do you recommend in a situation like that?
So I don't believe in ignoring a baby's cries. I think that, especially since all they've known for their whole life is rocking or nursing or being bottle fed to sleep, and then you want to teach them how to sleep, you can't just throw them in a room and tell them and have them cry themselves to sleep. Yes, it can work for some babies, but I just think it can be damaging to a parent and a baby. So I use an approach where we gently and gradually remove that external sleep prop, whether it's a parent, a pacifier, whatever it may be. We gradually remove that from the process while the parent is still with the baby supporting them. So we show them that we're still there with them and we're supporting this new process of falling asleep, but we're not just abruptly changing things too much to where they just feel abandoned.
That makes sense. That's good. So, another question would be, let's say that we were to hire you today, and I'm sure this is different based on each child, but if we were to hire you today, how long would we normally? Hi, Beverly, I see you. How long would we normally take for this process to work, to get into a better, healthier routine for the baby?
That's a great question. So it is dependent on each baby. It depends on where the baby is sleeping right now, how many sleep props they have, how they're napping. If it's kind of all a mess, it may take a little bit longer, but on average, I usually see babies sleeping well through the night by night 5, but my plans are usually 10 to 14 days long, which I offer the support for 3 weeks no matter what. So even if your baby starts to sleep through the night on night 5 or 6, I'm still there with you just in case things get rocky on night 8.
That's crazy. I was thinking this would be like a 5 or 6 month process, not a 5 or 6 day process.
No, they learn very quickly, and I have a lot of people tell me, like, I just didn't realize how much my baby actually loves to sleep. I feel like I should have done this a lot earlier, because this whole time I just thought I had a baby that didn't like to sleep, and here we are getting 12 hours at night and a couple naps during the day, and I have to wake her up sometimes.
Right, and that's good to know, because a lot of parents, they don't realize how much stress it puts on them when their child's not getting any sleep, and they don't get any sleep, so that just makes it worse. And then as soon as they fall asleep, the baby wakes up, and it's a never-ending cycle. So
exactly.
So that's awesome. I've known you've been doing this for several months now that you started, and I learned a lot myself today. So that's cool. Any other questions you have out there, or any comments you have? Brittany?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anything else you want to add to it? I'm sorry.
So I do offer, the initial evaluation is completely complimentary. It's just a 15-minute call where we can kind of assess the situation and just see if this would be a good fit. So there's no harm in just trying and talking to me to see if it's something that would fit your family's needs. And sleep is really important. Just because you become a parent, regardless of what everyone tells you, you don't have to be sleep deprived, and you really shouldn't be, because it's not healthy for you or your baby.
Right. Now, do they need to reach you by your cell phone number, or do you have a certain number they need to call?
They can, my cell phone numbers, that's fine. Or an email, they can send me an email. We can schedule that 15-minute call.
What's your email address?
It's Brittany, BRITTANY, at restisbestsleep.com.
All right, there we go. I just put it in the comments, so everybody should be able to see that in just a moment. I'll put it up here.
Great.
There we go. We'll leave that up for you. So, well, Brittany, thank you for joining us on our first episode, and we'll get you back here in a few weeks. And remember to tell all your friends out there to watch us. And here with Myrtle Beach Living, my goal is to go over anything that's with entertainment, anything with dining, new businesses that open up, highlighting local businesses like we did with Brittany, and of course my favorite, real estate. So we'll be talking about those. If you're interested in being on the show, you can just send me a comment in the box below, and I'll reach out to you. And thank you for joining us once again, Brittany. It's so good to see you.
You too, Todd. Thank you.
All right, you guys have a great day, and we will see you next time.
Bye.